In this video, I'll show you how to play a slow 8-bar blues on the acoustic guitar as you can play it with a flat pick. In this video, we're going to cover the intro and the first 8 bars. Premium members will have the second chorus and access to the Sound Slice interactive tab player, along with tabs, PDF, and Guitar Pro that you can download. This piece starts off with a classic blues intro. That's where we're going, but let's break it down. I'm sliding in with my ring finger on the 4th string, 5th fret, and then little finger is on the 1st string, 5th fret, right? Kind of sneaks in under there. And we want to hold that nice and solid. And these fingers on my fret hand are going to travel down the string, down the 4th string chromatically, and ultimately land in this shape. Now don't let that scare you. That might be a bit of a stretch. It's one that's worth working toward, but if you can't do it now, I'll show you how to kind of make this part work for you as you're working up to that stretch. All right, so we're sliding in, then we go back to the 4th string, and then we drop down to the 4th fret on that 4th string, then back to the 1st string, then we do that same move, but now starting at the 4th fret, down to the 3rd, and then once we hit that, we're going down into our shape. Now at that point, if that stretch is too hard or just not coming together for you, instead of keeping that pinky planted, this is a part where the notes probably died out most of the way anyway, so you can pick up and move down like that on the 4th string down to the 2nd fret. Once we get there, kind of reversing that situation and coming up 4th string rather, that's open, 1 and 2. And I'd like for you to land on that E note, the 2nd fret note, with your middle finger so that you're in position to take care of the final move of this intro, getting us into this E7, right? Don't let this kind of cramped fingering fool you. You can maybe see it a little more clearly there, but it's really just a kind of pared down fingering of this big E7 chord shape. All right, but the picking is we're going open 3rd string to 1st fret 3rd string, then the open 2nd string, 2nd fret 2nd string, on our way to that D note. Once we get there, I want you to be in position here because we want to strum down, up, down. Okay, whether you fret it like this or like this, and I actually prefer this because it keeps my fingers closer together, and I want to stretch as little as possible. Really, I want my home position on the guitar to be nice and compact, nice and comfortable. So I'm going to fret it this way with this ring finger kind of cramped but in the air, and I'm going to strum down, up, down, and then G on the 6th string, so that we can get ourselves into the main progression with that A note. All right, so let's take a look at this. The main chord progression is an 8-bar piece, and we're going to spend a bar on A7. Just get the tones in your ears. We're going to play this in different parts of the fretboard, but we've got A7 for a measure, and then E7 for a measure, and then D7 for 2 measures. right? So that's the main structure of the chords here. But we're going to get out of this open position and play up the neck a little bit and have some fun. We're going to start, remember, with that ringing, 5th string open, and we're going to slide into this A7 shape, all right? There's our G note there. I'm playing that 4th string, 5th fret, and then my ring finger is playing the C sharp here on the 3rd string, 6th fret, and then my middle finger on the E, 2nd string, 5th fret. Nice little shape. Here's your D major shape. Just drop it down a string, move it up, and we've got this extremely cool bluesy shape. I love it, use it all the time. And we're gonna use it here to kick this thing off. Remember, we've got this. We're gonna slide in on that 3rd string. So hold the shape as you slide in. Once we get there, we're gonna strum through the 3rd string and 2nd string. And then back to the bass, and this kind of feels a little bit awkward maybe because we're playing the bass on the and, a little offbeat, on the and of 2. Before doing a down up strum through these 3 strings, 5 or 4, 3, and 2. All right, here what we want to do for the last beat of this is drop down. Hold these 2 fingers steady. Hold them right in place if you can. Drop down to the 4th fret and then back up to the 5th. Because we're starting a chromatic walk up into this chord change here. That's the next measure. And remember, that's going to be over E7. And this maybe doesn't look like an E7, but if you think about it this way, it's coming from this shape. You can see those 3 strings played right there. I'm just playing it in a little bit more comfortable way, which is going to come in handy a little bit later on in the progression. All right, so the way I'm playing it, middle finger is on the 6th fret of the 4th string, ring finger on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, and then the E on the 2nd string, 5th fret with the index finger. All right, so that's what I'm doing. And remember, we walked in from the 4th fret like that. So you'll want to play that string on the 4th string, 6th fret with this middle finger to get you going. All right. Then what we're going to do when we get there is we're going to pluck that, and then the 3rd string and 2nd string back to the 4th string before just a short little down up strum, and then we're walking this thing down. And then a very similar thing, but now we've shifted down from E7 into D7. All right. So we're going to carry that picking that we did over E7 down into D7, and it's going to look very similar with a couple of little twists there. Let's take a look at the D7. All right, so once we get down into D7, the first part of this measure is the same really as what we did up here. We're plucking through the chord tones, strings 4, 3, 2, then back to the 4th string before a little nice and easy strum down and then up across these same strings. And then we hit the 4th fret on the 4th string and then back down. Now you can hold the shape, but you don't want to drag these fingers. Although that could sound cool if they're still fretting into a little slide like that, but that's not what's happening here. We're doing this little bass move and coming back up because we stay on D7 for another measure. Then we start this measure out just the same, plucking through 4, 3, 2, back to 4, and a down strum. But here we're going to change out of this position and just remind ourselves that we can play chords all over the neck, and we're really thinking about this D7 shape, but I want to pluck out the C and the A. C on the 2nd string 1st fret, and then the A on the 3rd string 2nd fret. And then finally, just that little bass move to get us back into A, where this whole thing started. So now that we've walked through these 4 bars of the main progression here, let's just have a nice little recap of them so that you can hear, see, and hopefully feel how these things fit together. These next 4 bars just alternate chords between the A7 and E7. Just does it twice, A7, E7, A7, E7. But like before, we're not going to play the chords out of this sort of home bass position, at least not most of it. We're going to play some voicings up the neck a little bit, starting with this move that we did before. Right here, as we're in E7, this is where fretting this E7 in this way might come in a little bit handy for you, because we're going to give this little finger a job and reach up to the 8th fret on the 2nd string and just push it up, do a little tiny blues micro bend there before going back to the E on the 5th fret and then down on the D, which is at the 7th fret of the 3rd string. Alright, I didn't do that in time, but that's more what we're looking for here. Now, if you can't reach up with that, you could definitely stretch out and play that with your ring finger. But hear how it kind of sounds a little more broken, because these chord tones aren't going to be able to ring anymore. So if you can play it with your pinky, I'd like for you to do that. If you can't, I'd like for you to work toward it, but don't necessarily let that slow you down from learning this particular piece. Just make note of what you find some trouble doing and make sure that you're targeting that in your practice. All right, so again, we're plucking through. All right. And then this is where we're moving into A7. So I'm doing this little bluesy hammer on from the 5th fret up to the 6th, and then I want to make sure that we're thinking about this as coming from an A or that A7. These 2 tones are right there at the heart of it. And that's a very classic blues move to do. All right, so we're hitting the D and then doing our C to C sharp hammer on. Then we're plucking the 2nd string, 5th fret, that E, and then the E on top. Same note, but we let that top string ring out as we head back down and pluck this out again. All right, so here's what we have over A so far. Back to that C on the 5th fret, 3rd string. Then we're going to kind of harken back to what we did in the intro, right? Kind of setting up this E7 chord strum here. But what I want to do is when I get to that D, I want to strum up through the top 2 strings. Whether you play it with this finger or with your little finger. But then from here, we're going to do some strumming. So I want to hit the E first on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and then a quick up, down before ending this progression with that G on the 6th string. Just sets us up nicely for a move back into A. All right. So once again, that A part to the E7 part is this. Remember that you can keep learning, keep digging into this with the additional lesson materials for premium members, the tabs, the interactive tab, and another course of instruction, slow and detailed instruction. If you want to find out how to join, you can click the link in the description. Hope to see you inside BGI, and until then, practice smart and play on.